All right, everybody, good afternoon or evening, depending on where you are. Welcome to the webinar. My name is Roy West. I'm the owner of Explore Whitsundays and also the owner of Solway Lass, the vessel that we do walk the Whitsundays on. With me is Jamie Morant, our sales and marketing manager, who is instrumental in organising all of the walk the Whitsundays and, came up with the idea originally, and it's really his baby. So he's going to tell you a hell of a lot about the trip tonight. Over the next sort of 25, 30 minutes, we're going to tell you all about Walk the Whitsundays. We're going to give you the opportunity to ask any questions you've got. We'll probably leave those to the end if that's okay, so that we can get through all the information that we've got. We've got some people coming into the room, which is fantastic. It looks like we've got sort of 3 different types of people with us tonight. There's a few of you that have already booked, that seem very excited about coming onto the trip with us, and we look forward to having you. So we're excited to see you. You might see my dog in the background. I apologise for him. We know a few of you have joined us tonight, have asked us questions in the last few weeks, are still interested in knowing a little bit more about the trip, and we're hoping to be able to tell you all of you a little bit more about the trip. And then there's a couple of you who have only just recently started inquiring about Walk the Whitsundays, seen our recent advertising, and here because you think it's an interesting thing that you might want to do. So we welcome all of you, and as I said, we're hoping to answer all of your questions as we go along. Our business has been in business for 35 years. We've been doing this a long time. We've had Solway Lass for over 20 years. We'll talk more about that as we get into it. But this is our 3rd year of running Walk the Whitsundays, isn't it? Yep. We started just before COVID, and we ran a few programs, and it all went well. We were lucky to get 3 programs away last year, weren't we?
Absolutely.
Yeah, we got three programs away last year in the middle of COVID with Queenslanders. Even all the Queenslanders joined us, so we really appreciated that. So this is our 3rd year of doing Walk the Whitsundays, and we're more excited about it this year than we have been before. So, as I said, if you've got questions along the way, please type it into the chat box and we can answer those, or we can answer them at the end. Right now, I'm going to switch over to our presentation, and we'll get started.
Thank you very much for your time this evening, everybody. I know some of you from the messages already in your names. It's nice to kind of meet you over Zoom, so fantastic. And for the newies, I'm sure we'll know each other by the end of this session quite well. Basically, let's start straight on in, the ultimate escape being Walk the Whitsundays. The Whitsundays has over 100 kilometres of walking tracks, spans over 74 islands. Some of these islands have resorts, but majority of them are purely national parks, heritage listed and protected, and absolutely beautiful. These tracks are remote. You can only access them by vessel. If you're not lucky enough to have your own vessel or your own boat to head out and check out these walks, the next best thing is to come with us, and we can take you around to the best spots and the best locations. The trip combines a Whitsunday sailing holiday. Basically, you get a sailing cruise as well as a walking tour. So you get the best of both worlds, and it's probably the nicest way to see the Whitsunday Islands rather than just sort of heading out for the day and having a snapshot. This opportunity allows you to sort of immerse yourself into the environment and really, really take it all in. So that is what the ultimate escape. Now, for you that haven't been on vessels before or been on sailing trips, you may be wondering, what is a Whitsunday sailing holiday? A Whitsunday sailing holiday pretty much is an all-inclusive experience where the vessel acts as your hotel that takes you from one destination or activity to the next. And pretty much you just travel with it as we go, rather than having to worry about where you've got to be next, bus pickups, accommodation times, check-in, check-out, and all that sort of stuff. Pretty much all you need to do is arrive at the marina, step on board, and we take care of everything else for you. Excuse me. The things that you could expect on a sailing holiday, the locations could be things like Whitehaven Beach, lookouts, Hill Inlet. You can see the picture on the left here. That's the Hill Inlet on Whitehaven Beach, the swelling sands. This place is absolutely beautiful. The sands change every day with the tides, so no photo is exactly the same, and your experience on that day is unique. So no matter how many times you go there, it's still a beautiful day, and it's like the first time you've been there. The other things are included in a Whitsunday sailing holiday. Stopping off at many snorkeling locations on the way. You don't need to go off the track. You can pretty much go from A to B and see a beautiful location that just looks idyllic to jump in and go snorkeling. And that's part of the sailing holiday, is just going with the flow and being quite flexible to jump in and out of the water. You've also got paddleboarding. If you're quite active, want to sort of experience I suppose the challenge of paddleboarding. It's quite fun. I fail myself, but I still give it a go each time, and I fully recommend it. The other things that can be included on a Whitsunday sailing holiday, obviously, is beach combing. You know, many beaches you can walk, beach comb, relax, explore, as well as the paddleboarding, the snorkeling, and the lookouts and the bushwalks. For us, that is what makes a sailing holiday.
Excellent. Guys, to give you a little bit of idea about the geography, some of you haven't been with us before. A lot of people that come on the walk trip, and we find this quite often, don't we, that people have done a trip in the Whitsundays up to 15 or 20 years ago, and then they find that Walk the Whitsundays is the perfect excuse to come back, and especially right now where you can't go overseas, so it's a perfect opportunity to come back and visit us here in the Whitsundays. For those of you who don't understand the geography very well, I'll give you a quick overview. Airlie Beach, where we are right now, is over here on the left-hand side on the mainland of Australia. The Whitsundays has 74 islands, but most of the time we only really concentrate on sort of 4 or 5 islands. Whitsunday Island is probably the most popular because just down through here is Whitehaven Beach, which Jay might just talked to you about, and the lookout where you take your photos, which I think was rated the #1 photo in the world last year on Instagram, is just over here. All of these little walk symbols are opportunities for us to take you on the walks. We'll talk about the various types of walks in a minute, but as you can see, walks are spread out across Whitsunday Island, Langford Reef, South Mole, Border Island. Just to finish off the geography, Hamilton, that was me. Hamilton Island is in the bottom of your picture here, and Hayman Island is at the top. So we basically, our trip's basically in this geographic area between Hamilton and Hayman and through to South Mole. This little dot over here is Daydream. So that's our area of reference for those of you who do know the area. If you don't, that's where it is. These little snorkeling symbols are all the bays, all the little secluded bays and inlets that we have available to us. These are the prime ones. These are the ones that will go on our trip because of the quality of the coral and the opportunity to see sea life during your time with us. So that's the Whitsundays. Normally that's enough for most people. If you need to know anything more about that, please let me know.
What's life like aboard Solway Lass? Besides being a historic tour ship that's over 119 years old, you feel this old world charm as soon as you get on board. I do reference this to a floating hotel for the reason that, you know, your accommodation's included, your food's included, your activities included, and you have guides on board to take care of you as well. It's a floating hotel with an open scenic sort of restaurant on top, so all meals are served on top deck. From, you know, the morning of waking up to the top deck, breakfast is served ready to go. The inquisitive marine life are just all floating around the boat and swimming around the boat because the engines haven't started yet, and it's quite relaxing just to sort of wake up in that sort of pristine environment. Lunch and dinner is also served on top deck as well. You transfer between secluded bays and tropical islands, as I've mentioned before, to your next adventure. Solway Lass can be as relaxing as possible, or you could be as active as possible. If you want to enjoy the activities, like I mentioned before, paddleboarding, snorkeling, there's a Tarzan rope swing on board for the challenges guests out there, like a bit of a challenge. Or you could just relax and take it easy, bring a nice book and sit on top deck and just enjoy a relaxation of the Whitsundays on board Solway.
This is a question you get asked all the time, isn't it?
This is probably the most asked question, is the layout and the type of accommodation. And as you can see straight away, it looks quite complex, but once you know this boat backwards and know what cabin suits sort of what guests, you know, sort of the boat sort of comes together. So Solway Lass is lucky that it's got 10 cabins on board, mixed from private cabins with en suites. There's 2 of those on board.
Down in here, yeah.
You've got a mixture of the double twin, which is beside it. You've got a double, and we've also got some mixed multi-share cabins. So we have 4 share cabins and a 6 share cabin. The beauty about Solway Lass is she's flexible. We can convert the quad shares into private doubles, or we can leave them as quads if there's a group traveling together or a group of friends traveling together, which is quite nice. Now, as I mentioned before, there is 2 en-suite cabins on board, and for the other 8 cabins, there's also shared bathrooms. Now, there's 4 bathrooms on board, so there's plenty to use. There's never any lineup, so the vessel is quite equipped to be your home away from home.
One of the things that I think people always question us about is the fact that on a lot of our charters that we do during the year, Solway Lass can take up to 32 guests.
Yes, 100%.
Which sounds like a lot of people, and it is, but you have to remember the boat's 130 foot long. So if you've been on a friend's 30 or 40 foot boat, it's really about 6 or 8 times the size of that when you consider the width of the boat, the beam of the boat, and the length of the boat. On our walking trips, we average around 16, don't we?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what we aim for because of the comfort on the walks, but also gives you the most flexibility on the boat.
More cabin in the space, more space in the cabin as well. Yeah.
So just to give you a little, this is down below on Solway. To give you a little bit of background here, as I said, we bought this boat in 1999. It was at Matilda Cruises in Sydney Harbour. For those of you who've been on a Matilda cruise around from Darling Harbour into the harbour in Sydney. When we bought it, it was a floating hotel where down below here, where we now have our cabins, it was all restaurant and seating. So they used to do weddings and lunchtime cruises on the harbour and have their meals down below. My partner, Jim Thoreau, who's started our business 35 years ago and still involved in it, rebuilt all of Solway for all these cabins. It used to down in here carry cargo. Like 30, 40 years ago, it was working out in the islands, Vanuatu, Fiji, all those sort of area, and carrying cargo down here. So we've rebuilt all of this section. And as J-Mo said, this middle cabin here in the middle of the shot, that's our private ensuite cabin. It has a third bunk because sometimes we have families use it in other charters. That third bunk becomes a very practical and useful storage space for people.
Absolutely.
This is the 4-berth cabin at the top. We've designed, about 5 years ago, we designed a process which allowed us to convert the bottom of these 2 single bunks into a massive queen size bed with a few tricks that we've got, which I won't get into. So this can become a private double, which again, you've got a lot of room for storage and leaving your book and towel and whatever, your laptop up the top there. And then down below here is a double, which again, we've built in these singles over the top. We quite often have families in those as well in other trips that we do. So give you an idea of the boat. You can see the standing room in this boat. It's over 12 foot in some areas down below here because it was a big cargo hold. So it's not like some boats that you go on where you can almost hit your roof from as soon as you go down the stairs. It's large downstairs. Every room is air conditioned and comfortable. Not as important in the winter as it has been over the last few months. Very comfortable boat to be on. Doesn't rock too much, and it's air conditioned and black and dark at night for sleep. Perfect. Really perfect for that. So why do we schedule walking trips in winter and spring? Relatively obvious if you've ever lived in the tropics, but for those who haven't, let me just give you a little weather update and a little understanding of where we're at. We don't start our trips now. We'll have our first walking trip next week. We don't start our program until mid to late April because we have the summer wet season and then we have Easter, which we're normally fairly busy in. So we start our walking program here. Luckily, we then have the most magnificent 6 months of dry season. In the summer, we have to mow our lawns sometimes twice a week. In the winter, we don't mow our lawns at all, which is glorious, let me tell you. And then we finish the walking program in October because come November, December, we're back into that more humid, dry season. I keep doing that, I apologise. You can see here that the overnight temperature drops a fair bit. I mean, up till now, it's still 23, 24 overnight, isn't it, here in Ellie Beach? One day I'll get this right. But, our daytime temperature is lovely. In the winter, it's blue and it's gorgeous. And then at night, it just cools off that little bit so you can relax on deck and enjoy yourselves. So that's why we do it in winter and spring. I think it's fairly obvious from that information.
Absolutely. How would you describe the walks? Well, in all honesty, besides being absolutely beautiful, Our walks are maintained by Queensland National Parks and Wildlife Services, who are regularly have a roster to go around to every single track on the Whitsundays and check them regularly on a weekly basis. The diversity in the terrain and the vegetation is amazing. Walks can go from eucalyptus to dense rainforest to expansive grass trees. It's absolutely amazing. The walks,
and that can change in 10, 15 minutes, can't it?
100%. You can walk around the edge of a cliff and literally the terrain just changes completely like that. On a half an hour walk, you could see 4 to 5 different terrains, which is amazing. Wonderful. Walks can range from 15 minutes or for 4 hours return. So the diversity and the options that we can choose from is fantastic. If we've got a lot of beginner walkers on board, we can choose a lot of the medium and easy grades. And if we've got groups that are quite experienced, we can do the higher grade walks, which Whitsunday offers everything we need from, beginner to high grade walks. To be honest, one of my favorite walks, if you don't mind me saying, is on South Mole, Could Be on Cop. I used to live on this resort for about 4 years in total over the last 15 years. And Spion Cop is a beautiful walk. It takes about 45 minutes. It leads you up to a beautiful, beautiful lookout that overlooks Daydream. It overlooks the mainland. And then there's a second peak that looks back over Hamilton Island and Whitsunday Island. So you get a really good feeling of where you are in the Whitsundays and the walks. And this walk in particular is a favorite of mine because, it starts off with the dense rainforest. It's, as you say, it goes around, tracks the side, and it's basically open grass trees, beautiful views, eucalyptus. And one of the most amazing things, which not many people know about, is that there's actually a rock quarry on the island. So roughly about 6,000 years ago, there was a sea tribe called the Ngaro Sea Tribe in the Whitsundays who inhabited South Mole. And you can see remnants of a quarry where they've actually smashed rock, which they use for flintstone, and tools, and then canoe to another island to trade, be it fish or baskets or whatever the other tribes have. So on Spion Cop, on the Whitsunday walk, on the walk to Whitsundays, you will actually experience part of a traditional sort of ancient rock quarry as well, which you can actually pick up, feel, and kind of just imagine what it used to be like 6,000 years ago.
Yeah, it's amazing. I've done that walk a few times, and the first couple of times I just walked past that. Yep. And it wasn't until I walked with JMO one day when he actually walked me through and took me through step by step about how they used to make these flints for their spears, and it took me to another dimension. Yep. So that's where coming with us, with our hosts and our guides who can give you all that information is really good. Mm-hmm. So hopefully that gives you a little feel of the walks. The walks are all different. Mm-hmm. The short walks up to the lookouts are, only 10, 15 minutes. Yep. But some of the more challenging walks, as Jamo said, we can take half a day to do those. We'll do them at your pace. You can see in these photos, you might be able to see clearly, we had some people that are very experienced walkers. Yep. And some who came with their friends. Mm-hmm. Who were not as comfortable walking. Or support walkers. But they enjoyed themselves, and we got through it at their pace, and they enjoyed the experience. Yeah. So, if walking's not your thing that you do on a regular basis, that's okay, because you can still enjoy the quality of these walks with a relatively mild effort, I suppose is the right word. Yeah. So you might wonder who our walkers are. Most of them, not all, but most of them are between around 50 and 70. I think our oldest walker, who is this lady just here in this photo, I think she was well into her 70s. She was a dairy farmer from New Zealand, and she was one of the fitter people on the trip. But most of them are 50 to 70. We have a lot of couples. We have a lot of friends who travel together. We also have, and I think Solway is wonderful for this, we also have a number of solo travelers. Yep. So if you're thinking about doing this on your own because your partner likes golfing holidays or just isn't into this, feel comfortable coming along because there are plenty of opportunities to mix with others and enjoy their company. As we said, range of fitness levels. You don't have to be super athletic to do this. You don't need to have walking boots. You don't need to have all the gear. No. You don't need to bring packs. None of that. Okay. It's really, we're going out for 3 or 4 hours. Take a day pack if you want, but just water and a camera. Yep. And your hat and sunscreen is all you really need. Yep. So our people are kind of outdoorsy, but they certainly like soft adventure. Yep. Tell you a very quick side story. First trip we ever did, we had 6 ocean swimmers who did the trip with us. Yep. At the end of every walk, they would go for at least a kilometre ocean swim. Yep. They came back and said, hey, the Whitsundays is a wonderful place to do ocean swimming. We met up with a guy called Andre Slade, who's Australia's #1 ocean swimming organizer and trainer.
Yep.
And this year we're running 8.
No, it's actually 10.
10 Swim the Whitsundays programs
Yep.
as a result of the first walk program. So, definitely love soft adventure. They're social. Most of them enjoy a sundowner drink or two, glass of wine with dinner, or a couple of beers before or after, and that's perfectly fine. So always got a bar on board, and we can do that for you. Absolutely not a problem. And they come from all walks of life: professional, teachers. We had a singer, didn't we? Professional singer on board. We had an ex-Australian cricket captain, remain nameless, but you'll see him in a photo in a minute. He came on board last year with his family. So it doesn't matter, what you do, where you come from, you can join us on this trip.
Yeah. Your all-inclusive holiday.
This is a question people ask, isn't it? What does all-inclusive really mean?
It literally takes the hassle out of everything. And it is all-inclusive is literally just arrive, in all honesty.
Yeah, just arrive
at the airport. And as soon as you arrive at the airport, I've got your airport transfers taken care of for you. So I do a lot of logistics and bookings, and we'll be with you through the whole stage of the process. So I coordinate your airport transfers. You'll have some bright, bubbly guests meet you at the airport. We'll basically get you transferred from the actual airport to the marina. And then basically we'll host a welcome meet and greet first. So the first day that you arrive, for some of you who have already booked, there is going to be some changes in this itinerary as I go through it. Please don't be alarmed. I've just had to make some last minute changes with the first night. And in a nutshell, rather than having accommodation at a hotel, we actually decided to lengthen the trip of Solway, and we're going to do a dinner and cruise on the first night. But I'll talk about that later and send you some more information tomorrow. But basically, arrive in the Whitsundays, we'll transfer you from the airport to the marina. You'll get to meet me and Roy. We'll be hosting a meet and greet with a few drinks, and then basically sort of break the ice, allow the guests and the fellow walkers to all meet each other, and you get to ask us some questions, tell me how amazing I am. And then basically... That
won't take long.
and then we'll basically walk you down the Solway Lass. The meet and greet is at the marina, which is a beautiful bar that sees sunset. And then we'll walk you down to the vessel, which will be handed over to the fantastic crew on Solway Lass. Once you step on board Solway Lass, you have no worries in the world. You literally, all your food is taken care of, all your activities, your accommodation, pre-meal snacks, everything you need to do, the itinerary, where to go, what's best on the day due to the weather. But basically, we take the hassle out of everything. So all-inclusive means arrive at the airport, we'll take care of you, and then we'll take care of you all the way back and give you airport transfers back to the airport after the cruise.
Yeah, so I mean, the only thing that you would put your hand in your pocket for during the trip is if you want to buy a couple of drinks.
Absolutely.
And that's it.
Bar.
That's it. Yeah. And they're at very reasonable prices. We're not there to charge Hayman Island prices.
Not at all.
For our trip. So that's what an all-inclusive holiday with us means.
Yeah.
Just to give you a couple more shots from Solway, give you a little bit more feel for what the boat's about, because we got a lot of feedback over the last 2 years that we undersold the boat and really focused on the walks. Yeah. So I thought I'd just give you a couple more insights into Solway. You might see here on the left-hand side this big green canopy. It covers across not the whole deck, but a significant portion of the deck. And it ensures, if you saw the video that J-Ma did to introduce you to the webinar that we sent out the other week, that was mostly shot under this canopy. So you've got that there, it's there all the time. Mm-hmm. You've got sun protection all the time. If you want to get some sun, which many of our people do, there's obviously places on deck that you can do that. If you want to jump up and sunbake on top of the saloon here, you can do that as well. But we've got plenty of support. You might see, if you can look at this photo clearly, you can actually see this guy's just jumped off this Tarzan rope, which we talked about earlier. You also see that the crew's up on deck, up getting ready with the yards to set the sails, because after we pull up anchor here, we would have gone sailing. So it's, there's always a lot going on Solway. There's always a lot to see. What we can't sell you right now, and what you can't ever experience or appreciate until you actually get on the boat, is that this is a true 119-year-old tall ship. It is one of the very few, if not the only ship of its age working continuously in the world right now. So we're really proud of that.
Yep.
We've spent a lot of time, money, and effort ensuring that we keep the authenticity of the boat up. As you can see, we serve. That's a good photo of serving. That's lunch on deck on one of our trips. It's just, look, we love this boat. I won't lie. We love this boat. It's our flagship.
Yep.
And it's one of the best vessels in the Whitsundays. And just spending time on the boat is a lot of fun outside of the walks, the swims, the paddle boards, and everything else that we've got on offer.
That's exactly right. Now, as you can see, we've actually been quite successful this year with even just lead-ins for the program, and been running, like I've advertised in the last couple of weeks, if not months. April sold out pretty quickly. The 30th of September sold out pretty quickly. And as you can see, there is other few months that have got a few cabins left. Now,
all the trips have got good numbers on them now.
That's
so they're
exactly
all confirmed,
right.
Which is great.
I'm pretty sure they're all over pretty much half full at this stage, to be honest with you, which is fantastic. Look, with May, even though it says one cabin left, Roy doesn't know this, but I've actually this afternoon worked out some configuration, and we've actually got an ensuite cabin available.
Excellent.
And I could actually squeeze another cabin in as well. Right. And I do have some multi-share spots. Like I said before, this vessel is so flexible and full of the cabin configurations. If there's a few of you for the May or a few of you for the August the 5th, please get in contact with me, because I may be able to move some rooms around and actually make it available if there is a few extra guests, a few larger guests and things like that. And that's the beauty about Solway Lass and the flexibility. But it's been doing quite well. As Roy said, it sold out last year, and we're on the way to selling it out for this year as well, which is quite exciting.
Excellent.
Oh, is that an image there?
Yeah, that is an ex-famous Australian Test cricketer, but you may not have realised that. That's perfectly okay. All right. So just to reconfirm the prices for this year.
Yep.
Multi-share at $14.50.
Yep.
Sole use, which is quite popular, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah, we give you a sole use cabin if you want to travel on your own. Some people travel on their own in sole use. Some people are happy to share in the multi cabin.
And make new friends. Yeah,
that's completely up to you guys.
Yep.
We have double twin rooms, and then the ensuite doubles that we talked about earlier.
So
they're the individual prices for those. What we promote on the brochure, but what we're very keen to do for you guys tonight, if you're interested, is we do have a 7-day hold program, which allows people to say, hey, you know what, I'm interested. Still got to check at work, still got to check with the dog sitter, which is always my problem. Still got to check, with the family, whatever it is. Put a 7-day hold on, and then we'll contact you at the end of 7 days. If you don't want it, no obligation, not a problem. But we don't want you to miss out if you are interested and just need a little bit of time to get sorted.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's nothing worse than thinking there's availability and then booking the flights and then realize it's not there. So it's purely there to give you confidence and secure that spot for you. And in all honesty, we only need a $350 deposit to secure your trip.
Yeah.
And the balances are only due 30 days before departure. So we're quite flexible with our payment plans as well.
Excellent. Perfect. All right. So we're coming to the end of what we've got to tell you about. If you do want to book as a result of our conversation tonight, then JMO and I will be on our mobiles for the next 30 minutes. Please write JMO's mobile down if you want to ring after 9 o'clock. If you want to ring after me after 9 o'clock, good luck. But don't ring JMO at 9 o'clock. I'll get in trouble. But if you want to ring tomorrow, that's fine as well. Or if you want to ring our reservations number, if you want to talk to somebody tomorrow, that's fine as well. All right. If later on you want to get more information, then Solway Lass has its own website, solwaylass.com.au, or it's on the Explore Whitsundays website as well. Just click down to Walk the Whitsundays. If you click onto that Book Now button, you won't be signing your life away, but you'll be able to check the dates, accommodation, and what's available. You can always ring us, or you can do it directly on the internet. So I suppose the question right now is, are there any questions that we haven't covered that you think that, you would like the answer to right now? If you do, please jump onto the chat box. I can see we've got a few questions. Hang on, there's already a few questions. So let me just get rid of that. Hang on. I'm so good at this technology, Jay. I've been impressed. All right, we had some in the chat already, so just bear with me while I go back to that. All right. Are there only showers? Are the only showers the ones in the ensuite cabins? Janeway, your answer, please.
I did talk a bit fast here. I'm so sorry. It's actually my first webinar I've done, so
That's okay. That's okay. You'll get better.
There certainly is. So, as I mentioned, there's 4 bathrooms on board Solway Lass. There's 2 for the gents, 2 for the ladies, and in each cubicle there's two heads. So 2 bathrooms, 2 showers, and basins and things like that. So it's a full stand-up shower. It's not a pokey sort of normal boat shower as such.
No, it's a full on,
small.
Yeah.
But it's actually a real size shower. I'm 6'2", and I pretty much fit under it with heaps of room available. So there is indeed heaps of showers on board. So there's 4 showers on board and 4 toilets outside of the 2 ensuite cabins as well.
All right. Bev said that the first night sounds like a great change. Look, here's the honest truth. The first night came about because the hotels here, and I'm sure the hotels in other tourism regions at the moment, are not accepting one-night bookings.
No.
They're there to try and recoup some of the losses that they've had over the last 12 months, and they've made minimum 2 and 3 night bookings for most places.
Yeah. And small little guys like us.
We're just not important enough for these hotels, so that was perfectly okay. We rescheduled some of our trips around the walk trips.
Yeah.
And we opened up these first nights,
and
because
the more you think about it, the hotel, we had dinner, you went back to the hotel, you went down for breakfast, you went back to your hotel, you checked out.
We also figured you've spent some time in hotels before.
Correct.
You haven't spent too much time on a 119-year-old tall ship, so we thought we'd give you an extra night.
Yeah.
Beach towels, bath towels provided. We definitely do bath towels.
Yep.
We do the bath towels as part of our package.
Yep.
Most people bring a beach towel, whether it's one of those small ones that you can wipe off, or you want to bring the full 8-foot beach towel. Either way, perfectly okay.
Absolutely.
How much time under sail depends on God, right? In the sense that we don't know what the wind's going to do.
Yeah.
I'm going to answer this question. Give me 1 sec. Let me go back to the map. Okay. So.
This is good, yeah.
So you guys can see the map again. As a square rigger, square riggers or tall ships can't sail directly into the wind, as we own 4X maxi yachts, racing yachts that race around the world. These things can point high and into the breeze. But this tall ship can only sail off the breeze. If that doesn't mean anything to you, that's perfectly okay. It doesn't matter. But when we're down here at the Southern Whitehaven Beach, we get an amazing sail all the way up to the top of Hook Island to go snorkeling. That's normally a 3 or 4 hour sail, depending on the breeze.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful sail. We can also, when we finish on our last day, we normally finish up in this area. We come down to Nara Inlet, if any of you know Nara Inlet, and we sail across back home to Whitehaven. So we're going to get at least 2 good sails in, God forbidding, and the wind blows.
Yeah.
But the one other good thing about the winter is the breeze is very consistent. As the summer, it can be all over the place from the north, which is terrible for us.
Yeah.
But in the winter, it's predominantly from the south, southeast, and it's great for getting the boat to look like this. So you will get your opportunity to take the photos. This boat actually, to bore you senseless, yes, I've owned this boat for 20 years and I love this boat. It has 5,500 feet of sail area. It actually sails really well.
It does.
So if you get that experience, it's wonderful. And we definitely love going sailing. So we want to do that for you.
Yeah.
All right. Next question. I don't eat shellfish. Can you accommodate that? Andrew? Yeah, I think we can.
Absolutely.
I'm pretty confident we can do that. Yeah.
We've got actually a full kitchen on board. So a lot of vessels and a lot of boats have small galleys, kitchens. Solway Lass actually has a full-size kitchen on board.
Yeah.
And,
so we can
prepare anything.
One thing that we've got really good at over the last 3 or 4 years is dealing with a full range of requirements and dietary needs, etc. So our full-time ops team look after that and make sure that we get the food that suits you guys, and we can definitely do that for you, not a problem.
Absolutely.
Karen wants to know about stand-up paddleboards. You're talking to the world's 2 worst stand-up paddleboard people, so not really our space, but we just did buy 10 new ones 2 weeks ago, which was really cool. We'll have about 4 to 6 paddleboards on Solway at any given point. You guys will have plenty of opportunity. There'll be at least 2 or 3 opportunities
Yep.
to enjoy it, where you can paddleboard straight off the beach and paddle around an island or up Whitehaven Beach or wherever you want to go.
Yep.
And it's a lot of fun. And if you've got more coordination than me, you'll be laughing. Can you help promote? Can you provide images for helping with promoting? Absolutely. We've got the brochure, which if you haven't received that, has got a lot of this information. Can send you those slides if that's of any value to you, and we can certainly do that.
Absolutely.
Footwear on walks, walking boots, sand shoes, sufficient. You can do 80% of these walks barefooted, which we both have. You can walk a lot of this barefooted if you want to.
Yep.
Sand shoes are more than adequate, aren't they?
Absolutely.
Yeah, just your regular runners is fine.
Yep.
But some people prefer to walk in walking boots, and that's perfectly okay as well. So that's. How do you get from Solway Lass to the islands? We throw you in the water at 20 feet and you swim for 200. No. How do you get from Solway? We have 2 tenders on board. Both, tenders are surveyed tenders, which means that they're perfectly safe and they carry 10 guests each. We transport you to and from the island.
And that's the other reason we leave the numbers quite low. Is that
so we can just do
2 runs.
2 runs. Yeah. Sometimes we have to do longer. All right. They are really good questions. Any others how about seasickness? Does it get very choppy? The Whitsundays can look like a lake most of the time. It can run to 3-metre swells as well. We've just had some recently, just before Easter. Solway is a massive vessel. It's not a 40-foot sailing boat.
And she's very heavy from all the steel.
It's got we won't get into that, but it's extremely stable vessel, and personally not very, people don't get very seasick on Solway.
No.
We recommend if you do have any issues that you bring tablets if you want, but generally not a problem.
No.
But it may well be. So, but if you need to.
Good question though.
Where can we leave excess luggage? Bev, first of all, this is the Whitsundays shorts and t-shirt territory. You don't need to dress for dinner on Solway. No, but look, you won't need a lot of luggage. But if you're coming and going down to Hamilton for a few days afterwards, or doing other things, we can either store that excess luggage for you in our office, which is a few kilometres away from the marina, perfectly safe, or there is storage in town where you can store it in town.
And depending on the size, I mean, if it's just a little bit more, we might be accommodating, and there might be a bit of room on the boat.
Yeah,
but
depending on the cabin, if you've got that extra space that I showed you in those the cabins, you can store an extra bag. Pardon me. Soft bags are important. Don't bring your big wheelie, heavy hard case bags, just soft bags, and you might be able to bring extra ones with you. There are a great bunch of questions, more questions than I thought we were going to have. Look, guys, you might have picked up, that we're a little bit passionate about this. We love this trip. We designed it. It works well. We don't sell it through agents for a particular reason, because we want to sell it to people that actually want to enjoy that style of trip.
We want a connection with the guests, with the product, and for me, being there for the whole process, from the phone call to the information provided to the airport transfers and assisting with the luggage storage and things like that. And also, seeing you when you get back from the trip and all the emails that come through afterwards. It's a very gratifying job. In a really nice way. It's a passion of ours, and you reap the rewards of the passion as well.
Yeah. I mean, in a regular year, we move just over 20,000 people sailing. But this is still our most favourite trip. So that's why we don't sell it through agents. We don't sell it anywhere else but on our websites and through our phone calls. And if you come with us on a walk trip, I guarantee you that you will receive utmost care, have a wonderful time, meet some wonderful people, and enjoy the beauty of the Whitsundays. Guys, is there any other questions before we sort of finish up tonight? Thank you again for attending.
Yes, thank
you. This is our first attempt.
It is.
Hopefully we did okay. Hopefully we didn't bore you to death. For those of you who have booked, we look forward to seeing you in the next few months and enjoying a glass of beer, wine or something with you. Thanks, Karen. Appreciate your comments.
Beautiful.
Bev's going to see us in May, so we look forward to that. Guys, if you want to come, you haven't booked, please give us a call tonight or tomorrow. You've got our mobiles numbers now. if you think, hey, wow, I've just thought of Fred, and Fred might be interested in this trip, or Mary or Jane or Peter or whoever, give them a call tonight and suggest that they come. We'd love to have more of your friends, because more of your friends means it's easier for the group to bond and have a great time.
Absolutely.
Look forward to seeing you. We got an A+. Thank you, Suzanne. An A+ is better than I've ever done in my life before. So I really appreciate that. We look forward to seeing you. Thank you for your time. And we'll see you in the Whitsundays.
It's been a pleasure.
Bye now.